Hello, hello, how are we all doing? It's another Saturday, and last weekend I had talked a little about awakenings, like spiritual awakenings, and I had left out one of the things that had happened to me back in the 70s. A lot of things happened to me in the 70s and early 80s in terms of the spiritual awakenings. And sometime after the nitrous oxide experiences, which opened me up to a whole different level of understanding the universe, I then had another amazing thing happen to me, but I didn't really understand it at the time. I had been attempting to my idea of meditating, and I hadn't really studied it, I hadn't really looked deeply into it, but my idea was I was going to just lay down, and I did some extremely deep breathing. I would breathe into the count of 7, hold it to the count of 7, exhale to the count of 7, and I had been doing that actually for a few months when this happened, and without any deleterious experiences. My goal had been to learn how to astral project. That's what I was trying to do, and I had not looked into, didn't know anything about, not very much anyway, about the chakras. I didn't know about Kundalini. There were so many things I didn't know. And there I was, resting on my bed, doing the breathing. I don't know how long it had been going on, maybe a few minutes. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it felt like an enormous electrical surge of energy came shooting up my body. It was so intense and so huge that it caused my body to arch. And I practically flew off the bed at that point. And it was terrifying to me because it just felt like I could have scorched my entire nervous system with the energy that shot up through me. And then later on, when I mentioned it to somebody else, they said, "Oh, that was your Kundalini Rising." Well, whatever it was that was rising in me, I did not enjoy that experience. I really didn't like it. Like I did not like learning about Fritz under nitrous oxide. There's a lot of things about the awakening process that are just not pleasant. And they're not fun either. So the Kundalini Rising is supposed to set a whole lot of physical things in motion and increase your energy and do all kinds of other good stuff. But I was so freaked out by what had happened to me that I just stopped. I stopped the deep breathing and my idea of meditating, and I did not attempt meditating again for another 30 years after that, until I finally felt brave enough to try it again, because I didn't know what I had done to myself, and it was frightening to me. It was really frightening to me. So that there was the experience of awakening under the nitrous oxide. Then there was the Kundalini Rising. Then Seth came into my life, SETH, the Seth books, which was a really, really wonderful gift to me. And then much, much later, the other experiences that I talked about in last weekend's video. And I had also neglected to mention when I tried the walk-in exercise at the time of my dad's death. I realized at some point that I had made a contract with my mother that I would be the one to bring her to the end of her life. But I hadn't realized that until that event happened, where I asked the universe, is it okay for me to leave? Can I take places with someone else, a walk-in? And I was told, no, you can't. You have this to do. And I couldn't understand why I had that to do, because it just didn't make sense to me at the time. Why do I have to be the one to see my mother through to the end of her life, and my sister lives so close to her? And I think she even liked my sister better. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure she really liked anybody. But anyway, so that's another aspect of the awakening process, the Kundalini rising in you. And there are times I hear that it rises in a pleasant manner. It doesn't shock you, it doesn't terrify you. and it doesn't feel like you're, torching your nervous system in the process. So just wanted to mention that since I left it out of last weekend's chat. Hope you all are doing okay. I'm loving seeing some of the news lately. The tariffs being, short-circuited. The employees having to be restored. The courts just saying no, 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 no to Trump. Thank God. So I am feeling very heartened by everything that's happened. Apparently Musk has left his slice and dice and dismember job, and he will not be thanked for it, I'm sure. So we are moving forward, and the country is still the United States, even though it looks kind of funny right now. It looks kind of orangey right now, and we have to restore it to its normal complexion. Alright, wishing you all a really good rest of the weekend, and take heart.